So, Pepe, tell me about yourself, man.
What can I tell you about myself? Well, I'm Pepe. I own a little restaurant here, Pepe's Bistro,
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln, Nebraska. That opened in 2008, and I came to Lincoln in 2004.
Okay.
And this was just it was supposed to be a just stopping by kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
because I was headed to New Mexico. I want to do a little bit of research and study on sustainable architecture.
Oh, Earthships?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Earthships, adobe houses, cob houses, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the restaurant I was working for at the time, Whiskey Creek, was going to open a store in Loveland, Colorado. And because I'd been researching where these types of schools would exist,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought I'll just maybe look at another option versus going to New Mexico. And anyways, I saw Colorado had a lot of cool sustainable things going on,
Mm-hmm.
and so I held on. It's like, all right, I'll wait till they get that store built. I'll just transfer out there.
Okay.
But that never happened,
Mm.
and I went to go work for another restaurant.
In Loveland?
Well, no, I mean the store in Loveland was taking a long time to build. In the meantime, I'm here in
Oh.
Lincoln, Nebraska,
Right. Okay.
waiting and waiting.
Okay.
And I finally just gave up and thought I'd find some other avenue to get out of Lincoln, to move on to New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And I started working for, back in the day, and I was a part-time waiter, and that led on to being a cook,
Mm-hmm.
manager. It kind of just went up in the,
They loved you so much. They were like, get this guy behind the grill.
yeah, he doesn't charge much. Put him responsible for everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, even back then, I discovered the farmer's market downtown.
Mhm.
I just fell in love with it.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
I mean, it's-
And started buying ingredients from there and bringing them to the kitchen.
At-
hmm
What do they think? Was that their standard practice?
No. Well, because it's a whole different deal. I mean, for many restaurants, they can buy in bulk from big food warehouses.
Mm-hmm.
So buying, from a farmer's market, probably paying more. So, and I told him at the time, and he's a really great guy, but I said, why not just once a month during the summer when the local tomatoes are available? Just buy that at the very least.
Right.
And his response was, well, there's no profit in that.
Mm.
So I was like, is that what the hell this is all about?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure you got to take care of yourself. He had a family. He's a wonderful man. He's got to look out for his
Mhm.
family. But just a lot of things started going through my head.
Mm-hmm.
And so I worked there for a few years. And that was, like I said, 2008. So April of 2008, I was out in Havelock. Because, I love yard sales. I think we were talking about that
Mhm.
earlier.
Mhm.
And I saw a sign. It's like, well, why is that sign pointing to this building? So it was a sale. This lady was she was a sales rep for books. So she's the person that goes around and sells like calendars and little gifts. When you go into a lot of bookstores, you'll find little stands with, quirky toys and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So what happens is she'd get all these free samples and she'd be stockpiled with it.
Uh-huh.
So then she would have a yard sale. So the story will go like this: is I went upstairs and so I'm coming back down. Now remember, that place was a coffee shop at one point, just a tiny coffee shop, 15 by 20 foot, if that.
Mm-hmm.
And then down the hallway was a shared space because there's two other businesses. It was hers and a photographer.
Mm.
But I said, oh man, what a cute space. Too bad it's not for rent. And she's like, well, it is for rent. Let me let you talk to the owner. I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm broke. I'm like, I'm a part-time waiter. And, that's why I'm here at the yard sales, because I've got no money. She's like, well, you should meet him anyways. And she introduced me to him. And it turned out he was a customer of mine.
Oh.
She's like, what do you think about doing? I was like, well, something small, simple, using local ingredients and organic and fresh. That's it.
Mhm.
And so we talked for a little bit. And he's like, well, I like the idea. He's like, I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, again, it's like I'm broke. I've got zero equipment, zero tables, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, I'll tell you what. And he's like, you move in April, give me a deposit. And in June, you can start paying rent then. So he gave me all this month's free rent. Yeah, that was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's this guy?
Oh, so thank you, John, for doing that for me.
Cheers to John.
Yeah, salute. Yeah.
Wow.
And so yeah, it was $500 a month, all bills paid. Yeah. And
Amazing.
he was very patient with me. And so that's how that started.
Beautiful.
And that's how the Pepe's Bistro journey began.
How did Havelock?
And yeah, out in Havelock.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, the story I told you earlier, the location I'm at now, I had looked at, prior to Havelock, just to, because it was for rent. And I was just kind of like beating around ideas. Like, maybe I should rent this place and do something. And I thought at the time it was way too big for me. And that I'm there, it's perfect. Yeah.
Wow. I'm curious, have you always been vegan your entire life?
Well, I'm not vegan, and that's something I want to clarify.
I'm interested in this.
Tell so I'm vegetarian.
Okay.
And that's only been 15 years.
Only.
So, yeah. Well, I'm old. Yeah. For you young guys, well, that's half my life. Well, gosh, I was, 40 back then? Yeah. And the reason I say vegetarian is because I do consume honey. And the restaurant is not vegan. I need to clarify that. What you will find in the restaurant is honey, so that's not vegan. And every couple of months, I do use local eggs from the local farmers for certain dishes. But that's the extent of it. And what you won't find in the restaurant in the kitchen is you won't find a microwave and you won't find a deep fryer. I don't use those things. So
Nice.
So I won't elaborate, but I just don't care for those two.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's why it tastes so good.
I don't know. Maybe.
Man, I just had your quesadilla, your beet quesadilla.
Oh, the beet hummus quesadilla? You like that?
Man,
Yeah.
that was tasty.
That's a tough one for me because,
Yeah?
not because it's hard to make, but because once I've prepared the hummus, I'll dish out maybe a tablespoon onto the dish and taste it. I'm constantly tasting. And it's like, oh, damn, that's pretty good. Maybe I'll just get me a little side dollop of it. So I've had to learn to control myself because I'll go through a freaking half recipe in a day, just during break, not during break. I've got a little buffet going on back there.
Do you find it's harder to cook when you're full?
I'm always working. I'm always moving back there. No, not for me. I really do not sit down to eat, like relax and eat a lot of times until 10 or 11 at night.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you ever noticed some of the pictures that I post. They're kind of late. That's when I get to sit down and eat. I mean, we're open Monday through Friday from 11 till 2. Then Wednesdays I'm at White from 5 to 8. Second Fridays, we reopen 5 to 9. That's when we host local musicians and local art. And that's been a blessing for me. I've been doing that since 2010. Yeah.
Wow.
And just met a lot of wonderful people that way, including yourself, of course.
Well, likewise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you're right now the artist in your space is your nieces?
Yeah, my niece's little girl, Aurora.
Aurora.
Yeah, and she just sold another painting today. The DJ that was there, Rick. Yeah, he texted me. He's like, "Hey man, can I get that Peppa Pig?" I'm like, "Yeah, man."
Nice. The one with the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one's texting.
That's great.
Yeah, the little pig texting. Yeah. But yeah, Aurora Stadillo, she's look out world. Here comes another artist.
How old is she?
13.
Wow.
Yeah, she just turned 13.
Yeah.
And she found that as something she could embrace after, getting bullied in school and things like that. I mean, and like I said, those colors that she uses are just really cool. There's no borders. Like nothing holding her back. There's no rules, as we had spoke about a while ago. There's certain things that you're taught sometimes that you have to follow these rules in creating this or that, and that's so great about her art.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of young artists her age, they haven't really been set with rules to follow when painting or whatnot, or drawing or sculpting.
Yeah.
They just do it. They just feel what's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what true art is, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Channeled emotions. I think that's been the most helpful part of art in my life is if I'm feeling these heavy emotions, it's like, well, I can just kind of, they spill over in unknown, unproductive ways sometimes, and counterproductive ways, even if I mess up relationships because I'm feeling all these emotions. But art is like, all right, it's like a laser beam. It's like, all right, channel all these emotions into one project and really get it out.
Yeah, and that's what she does. It's just, that's her outlet. That's something that she can embrace and just be really happy at. And it shows through the art. So yeah, so she's been doing that for about a year and a half, and she's really taken a liking to it.
So besides the art that you put on people's plates, because that is truly an art form.
Oh, thank you.
Do you dabble in any other art forms?
Oh my goodness, what is art?
Good
There you
question.
go.
Yeah.
Give you a crazy laugh. Try that one. Yeah.
That's a great. Yeah.
Well, I had mentioned that, I've got a 10th grade education. So, one thing I used to do as a little kid was write my own stories. And through my adulthood, it's like, oh, maybe I could one day write a short script, for a short film, 15, 20 minutes. And that always stayed in the back of my head. And I've got about 4 or 5 solid ones. They're in my head. Yeah.
Nice.
And I've told them to a few people. You have to come by sometime, I'll tell you one. And I'll tell my coworker, I'm like, I've never told you my stories. She's like, no. And she almost broke out crying on one of them.
Oh.
And so that's one of them. Here's the cool thing. Some of those stories have been inspired by the music I've heard. Yeah. It's like, it just happens. I guess people like myself with short attention spans, they happen like that. Yeah. So you got to capture it right then and there and keep it focused.
Wow.
Try to anyways, but yeah. But so music is a big part of it.
Huh.
So, that's one art form. I've also, like I said, I dropped out in the 10th grade, pursued getting a GED after that, which I obtained. In my early 20s, I thought, well, I'll see if a college will accept me with this. And one did. It's like, well, GED. I mean, it's kind of a prestigious little private college, back home. Abilene Christian University, but I was glad to be doing the whole college thing back then. And but even then, I couldn't stay focused. I started off, I was going to get a degree in graphic designs.
Nice.
And so, taking the courses that went along with that lasted for maybe a semester. The next semester, I was like, I'd rather be an architect. So there comes those courses. It's like, nah, I really do like fashion design because I like to dress up. Opposite of what everybody else has done. So anyways, went from that to photography to what the hell?
You're just sampling all these classes, huh?
Yeah. Fashion design, photography, architecture. And I eventually was like, well, my sister was getting married in Florida. So I thought I'll take a break and I'll go out there for, a couple of months. And that lasted 15 years.
In Florida?
Yeah. Where I just pretty much worked and lived up the Florida life.
Amazing. What'd you do down there? Were you cooking?
No, I was a waiter out there for many years.
Okay.
Just made some nice money out there.
Huh.
And so I can see how they say the fountain of youth. And I think that was my fountain of youth, being a waiter, because the years went by and I thought I was still young. Then I realized, shit, it's what happened. I went from my early 20s. Now I'm in my mid 30s. I never went to school.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get out of here and pursue something.
Mm.
And by that time, I had started learning more. Well, actually, what it was my mother's stories that inspired me to pursue sustainable architecture. And she'll tell me about her high power bills and gas bills.
Oh.
I'm like, Mom, how is that? You're a single woman living by yourself in a little house.
Uh-huh.
And she would always go back to, well, when she grew up, she lived in an adobe house, and they had a wood-burning stove. And how it always, with that, the entire, little house would stay warm.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, Mom, and you and your stories. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But I researched it, and sure enough, those adobe houses, cob houses, they would absorb this heat, and then as it got colder, it would naturally just release it. And plus, they're super insulated because of the thickness of the walls.
Uh-huh.
And so then that kind of triggered something in me. It's like, oh, maybe this is what I can pursue.
Interesting.
And so I moved back to Abilene, Texas. I thought, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'll work here for a little bit and move on to New Mexico.
To build some earthships.
Yeah, and to learn all that.
Yeah.
And I researched it to the point that it's like, all right, I will work in Española, which is here. Work in Santa Fe. I will live in Española, work in Santa Fe, and go to school in El Rito. El Rito. Yeah, that's where the school was at for adobe construction. And right about that time, or in that time area, I get a phone call from my dad's wife, because my parents remarried, and she said I need to come up to Sioux City. My younger brother, there had been a tragedy in the family, and I don't want to bring back any more memories on that. So I went up to Sioux City, Iowa, to be with the family.
Wow.
And I was there and stayed for a little bit, and then, like I said, I was researching, and I came to Lincoln, and was working at Whiskey Creek. Was the job that I transferred with, and so I lived out of my car for a while.
Wow.
Out here off of Randolph.
Oh, wow.
Slept in the alleys out there, and
Wow.
the alleys in the near south area. And I decided what the heck I was going to do. So,
Amazing.
yeah. It was cool, man. This little station wagon had a pillow back there and a little blanket.
It's cozy.
It was cozy. Yeah, I was fine with it. The thing I found interesting was, maybe I shouldn't say it, but I will. I thought, well, what's the safest place? Let me go park in this church parking lot where it's lit up. I'll just sleep underneath the big lantern and just sleep here. But there are signs, no parking overnight for any reason. I was like, but I'm living out of my car. Yeah. I want somewhere that's safe. But I was going to abide by that, so I drove around. And that's how the alleys came about and stuff like that. I did find a place right here at, oh my goodness, it's like 32nd, what's that church out there? 32nd and Randolph? You know what I'm talking about? They used to have a thrift store in there.
There's so many churches. Oh man, there's so many churches. Just like right down there.
Yeah, 32nd and Randolph. 30th and Randolph.
I could throw a dart at a board with a couple words on it, like Christ place or something.
Yeah, but there was a part of their parking lot, part of their whole deal there. There was a statue of Mary in the corner. I was like, oh, I'm going to sleep right here. There were no signs. So, and I felt comfortable and I was fine. And throughout the week, how did it go? I remember I'd change locations. So I slept along that, Randolph in a few different parking lots until I finally found my first apartment.
Wow. Man, that's funny. It's like if the modern story of the birth of Jesus, it's like they were refugees on the run, and it'd be and now to think that in the modern day they've got signs that say no parking,
no parking,
or a big empty parking lot. It's like, well, nothing else is going on here.
No parking. There's a line between us. Here's success, food, and happiness. But on the other side of the line, there isn't. And so there's that border.
Yeah. So where were you born, Pepe?
I was born in Alpine, Texas.
Okay.
That's down in the Big Bend area.
Uh-huh.
And so Alpine is maybe an hour from the border, if that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a long time since I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of my family's there on my father's side.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
You're bouncing around your whole life. That takes a lot of courage, and some people, including me right now, in my.
Well, it takes all kinds, man.
Yeah.
But yeah. You died, yeah. Alpine, Texas. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Your kitty wants in.
Well,
You go there, man.
All right.
Maybe they'll like me. They didn't come near me. They're like, oh, we're allergic to this guy. What's their names?
That's Nola.
Nola. Yeah. Nice to meet you. Yeah, you're pretty.
Yes.
Or handsome.
Yeah.
It's like, Dad, why'd you put me outside? What did I do?
Hello. Yes. Now she's the center of attention.
Yeah.
This is Nola's podcast now.
Hello, Nola. Nola.
So did you grow up vegetarian in Alpine?
No.
Yeah.
So going back to the Alpine, it was just it's a small town, and I remember on occasion somebody in the family would raise a cow or something,
Mm-hmm.
Goats, and everybody would pitch in to do the deed,
Mm-hmm.
slaughter the animal, clean the animal,
Mm-hmm.
and then the food would be distributed evenly.
Wow.
And so that's one thing I do believe in is, well, not the killing of animals, but being sustainable.
Mm.
Yeah. There's a lot of small farms that are, they respect the animal, they do this and that, and some people won't agree with me, but, these are good people. And so to have a group of non-meat eaters bash on them, I don't think it's right.
Mm.
I think the big factory farming, animal agriculture is what's really hurting this earth.
Mm.
It's hurting everybody.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I wish, like, when I'm at the farmer's market, like at the end, after we set up and we're breaking down, I wish people could see what I see that are not the ones that are being a little bit judgy, if that's even the word.
Mm-hmm.
At the market, the different vendors, including myself, I might have like extra burritos or whatever, and I'm like, hey, I'll buy you something. Like, oh, well, here, have this bunch of lettuce or a bunch of beets, and you see that bartering amongst all the farmers there.
Huh.
They're bartering food. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's a kinsmanship. What word am I looking for? Kinsmanship.
Something like that.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They're homies.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing. So I think all this bashing needs to stop. It really does. I gave up eating meat, like I said, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Just the connection between what's going on a plate versus, like I said, big animal or the big farms, corporate farming, all that, and how it's affecting a lot of things. That from all, health reasons, ethical reasons, mostly ethical. But that's why I quit.
Yeah, there's no shortage.
And just they always say, let's try to save the world. But if you can do what you can for your part, thank you for the kisses. You're on a roll. If you can do what you can for your own little world, or your world, then you are saving it, in a sense. You can't sit there and say, sit on top of the Capitol, try to part the Red Sea or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right. That's in essence why I stopped mowing. I was like, well, I can't control what everyone else is doing, but I've got this little piece of land. That,
Yeah, and that's part of that American dream is having the lush green lawn in the front, and so that was really pushed through the seas and through grow this green grass. So you can have this, but the grass has such tiny roots,
Oh yeah.
so you have to continuously keep watering it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you plant a bunch of creeping Charlie out there, or a bunch of mint, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
those roots are gonna go deep.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they keep coming back every year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be green. That's what you wanted,
Right.
and you can eat it.
Yeah.
Make some tea.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that creeping Charlie, or ground ivy is totally edible and still like high in vitamin C, and
Yeah,
it's just
right.
great for you.
Yeah, it's just what we've been taught. Just a lot of things we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we do know. It's just haven't taught it to others.
Right. And I find that it's the most powerful influencer is the cultural norm, the waves of the cultural tide. They're really strong. People can say, well, that makes sense, and I know exactly what you're saying. And I talk to people, oh, I hate mowing, and I don't know, but everyone on my block mows, so what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
It's like, but I think, but in the same kind of level of despair that fills me with, it also fills me with hope that once the vision turns around, it's going to catch like wildfire,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's true. You gotta, again, save your own world, believe in yourself, and it will catch on and take off like wildfires. You're saying one little example of that is the Lincoln Bike Kitchen.
yeah, tell us a story about that.
Well, I'll tell you a few stories before that.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying you got to believe in yourself. If you find a void in the community, and this is something I learned, if you find a void in the community, something that it needs, there's no better place, person, or time than yourself to do it right then and there. Different people came to me back in the day for whatever reason, saying that they couldn't afford a bike, and they want to start all these underground basement bike shops and keep it really on the DL. I think, well, why? Why not just make it a community bike shop? And so I'd made a couple of invitations, out to Havelock back then, and nobody would show up. And I thought, well, crap, I don't know how to fix bikes other than when I was a kid, changing the tires. But the opportunity came where I was lent a little house by Carol Smith to move my shop there. This is after I had done a collection of bikes and had been giving them away throughout the neighborhood in my first apartment after I moved from my station wagon into a little efficiency over at 12th and F. But I thought, I don't know how to fix bikes, but here we go. I'll just learn.
Yeah, you saw the void.
Yeah, I saw the void. And so I remember, I'm going to skip all the extra stories, but I remember after Carol lent me the house, because I had asked her, what can I do with this? Because she had seen the problem that I had in my apartment that was full of bikes. And this was at that point, my third apartment at the time. The garage was full, the apartment was full of bikes. I just had bikes everywhere. And
because you're welcome, saying I'll fix your bike.
Well, what happened was, because I was giving bikes away, the best that I could at that time. And I'm sure the people listening are going to get really confused, but after I opened up Pepe's over in Havelock, I had always believed in a barter system of some kind. And so I did bike barter Saturdays. And so you'd bring me your old bike, bike rim, seats, handlebars, whatever, and I'll give you a discount on the food. I thought, well, maybe I'll get a few bikes that way. It took off, and it went crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I went up with that third apartment that I was telling you about with the garage, and that filled up. Whoa. And that's when I met, Carol Smith at a Bioneers meeting that Adam Hens was holding at the time, him and his wife at the time. And so I really appreciate them doing what they did, which connected me with Carol.
Wow.
And, right up until that point, I was fixing up bikes to the best that I could. and I was parking them in front of coffee shops. Back then, it was Jones's Coffee, which is now Coltiva's on 11th.
Oh, wow.
And if I couldn't fix the bike myself, because I just didn't know adjusting gearings and stuff like that, I would go out to Monkey Wrench.
Uh-huh.
They were downtown at the time, or a little further, down where.
Like by Roots? Is that kind of where they're at now?
Not where they're at now.
Okay.
I mean, years before that.
Okay.
Time in 2007, 2006.
Uh-huh.
And anyways, I'll take them to the bikes. They'd fix them up for me, and then I would pay them, of course. But then I'd park them in in front of Jones's with a free sign on it, and just let it be and hope for the best. And I want to say at one point there was a nice little Schwinn Speedster 60s bike, and it wound up at one of the used bike shops in town for sale for $175.
Oh.
Yeah. And I thought, okay, enough of this. So I started sticking around, making sure that people that were taking the bikes were,
in need of a bike and not just trying to flip it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So anyways, all those things kind of added up to we need this community bike shop. And
Wow.
so anyways, after I met Carol and she saw my dilemma with the storage, she let me in her house. And I asked her, what can I do with this? She's like, whatever you want. I was like, for how long? She's like, as long as you need. I went to Metal Arc coffee shop, and I started drinking coffee. And I was up to 11 o'clock. It's like, all right. And I had just learned about Facebook, that prior year, and made up a Facebook page. At that time, I couldn't think of a title. I was like, what the hell can I call this place? So I thought, well, maybe Narrow South Community Bike Shop, which is a long title. And so I did that. I invited a couple people that I knew. I made a few announcements. And I said, starting this Sunday, which was the very next morning, I explained what it was going to be. So I needed volunteers. And in the description I put, if you don't know anything about bicycles, that's okay because I don't either. Well, we'll learn together. And so I remember 12 o'clock came around. I'm thinking, what the heck have I done? 12:05, nobody was there.
No one's there.
12, 7 after 12, just 2 minutes later, there they come up the sidewalk. My first 2 volunteers.
Wow.
Yeah, and the rest from that point on is just history.
Wow.
And I held on there because I started giving bikes away in 2006, and so this was 2010 now. And
oh wow.
So I held on for another 2 years, and when I felt that because it wasn't for me, it was for the community.
Yeah, right.
When I felt comfortable with walking away, I did. So it could just evolve on itself, and it has. So the Lincoln Bike Kitchen is always in need of volunteers, of course, monetary donations, and good bikes are fixable. You don't want to take them something that's just all beat to crap and taking up space that's going to that could be used for a good bike that could be given away to somebody. So yeah, check them out sometimes. Have you been there?
I have, yes.
Oh, so you know how freaking amazing it is.
Oh,
they've done such a great job out there.
It's the best.
Yeah.
And a part that makes it so glorious that I hadn't considered before was by volunteering there, you learn how to fix bikes,
yes.
and you find a sense of community. And my dad used to own Bike Peddlers,
the
bike shop.
Yeah.
And he's since sold it. Now he's a real estate agent. And I to work with bikes and to get back in that environment again, I could just tell when I was out there, it was like, oh man, he's in his element right now. This is doing so much for him, as much as help as he's giving to the community by fixing bike. I think he's getting help just as much by just like he's an expert.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I mean, there's that certain something going on there when you walk in, and I like to go there every now and then just to walk around and see the interactions between people. I saw this gentleman that, he was probably in his mid-60s, but he's talking and he's showing the wrench and he's looking down, and there's these couple of young boys, you might be 10 or 11, and they're just fixated on what he's teaching them, and they're learning, and he's giving them the wrench, and I'm like, they're getting something out of it, he's getting something out of it. Maybe prior to the bike kitchen, he was just sitting at home doing nothing, or maybe he just needed that, extra little something. I saw another volunteer, and she too was teaching some people out there how to rent some bikes, and I really love that because that breaks a stereotypical of like mechanics should only be men.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and so here she was rocking it, and we need to see more of that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was out there, it's like nearly 50-50. It was like 60-40, and my friend Briley was out there, and it's like it's just a great mix of men and women all working on bikes, and it's kind of it's you take the of course there's money involved with keeping any nonprofit up. You gotta pay some sort of bills, but when you take that away, it's like everyone there is just so relaxed and just buoyant and free, and it's just like wow, there's really great things going on here.
Absolutely. And you're talking about it takes money, and it does. I mean, they've got to pay that rent every month, and it's like, oh man, this is a great thing they're doing for the community, and it crushes me to think that they're always scrambling how to find ways to pay the rent for such a great thing they're doing. And so if anybody's listening, you got an old building out there, give the Bike Kitchen a call if you want to do something awesome. You want to give it away, or rent it for like $1 a month or something. Give the Bike Kitchen a call. They are 501c3, so it's an official nonprofit. Great tax write-off for you if you
Right.
do something great. Give them a building. Mayor Leron, pronounce her name for me. The mayor, Mrs. Leron.
Yeah, Lyrian.
I'm sorry, Gail. I'm sorry.
Baird. No, I think I might have just messed it up too. I'm not any authority.
Well,
she's a great woman.
She is. She's amazing. She helped get the parking fixed in front of the restaurant. She put some input in that.
Nice.
And she just rocked it. She's rocking Lincoln. But my point is, Gail, if you're listening, maybe if you hear of any buildings out there in Lincoln that are empty and there's some maintenance having to be paid to keep them up, then maybe donate it to the Lincoln Bike Kitchen, or hook them up.
I can think of no other better organization. I mean, I have to eat my own words here when people flood the comments like, no, but bikes.
It's a deserved organization.
It's a deserved organization. Bikes are freedom,
Oh, absolutely.
You can bike across town in an hour or walk in 6 hours. It's like, biking is independence, freedom. So did a bike play an important role in your life?
It did, because as I said, I was struggling financially when I came to Lincoln, lived out of the car, and I did find that efficiency apartment for, I think it's like $275 a month back then. It's just the living room, bathroom. That's it. Then like a little, I don't know what they're called, mini micro stoves kind of thing. And so the car was messing up, and I remember finding a bike that had been trashed. It's a mountain bike, KHS mountain bike. And it was in the trash without rims, so I picked it up and I held on to it. Later on, over at the Ambassador apartment building across from the Capitol, they had a roll-off, and they had some bikes in it. And there's a lady's Schwinn 10-speed, and it had some. I noticed the rims were good and the tires were good and still high air. It's like, well, I'll just take these suckers off. When I got my wrench and put them on the mountain bike. I didn't know, don't put 10-speed tires on a mountain bike, but it rode, and it did what it could. But again, I took it to Monkey Wrench, and they didn't flinch. They didn't criticize me. They're like, yeah, give us a day or two, we'll get it going for you.
Nice.
And so they tuned it up. I mean, they just left it primo.
Wow.
And I remember at the time, I can't remember the exact amount that they had charged me. I remember even back then, it's like, wow, these guys hooked me up for everything they did for this bike. But anyways, I was riding from 12th and F to like 30th and Pine Lake, which is out at the mall. There's a Whiskey Creek out there. So that's my ride, and that's what helped me start putting money away. Since by that time the car was just gone, it was a done deal.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a bike that helped me.
Jeez.
Start saving money. I wasn't spending money on gas.
Right.
Yeah, helped me lose some weight too.
Hey, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Man. And I'm sure those stories are just all over the place in Lincoln of people,
Oh,
of a
yeah.
bike being like the missing ingredient for someone, turning their life around.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And the bike kitchen, they share their emails that they receive, and every now and then they'll get an email from somebody saying they were living at the mission. They came to the bike kitchen, got a bike, they were able to get a job, and now they've got their own apartment. So that's pretty amazing.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to offer a communal thank you, Pepe, for
Well,
noticing the void and putting in the necessary work to start the fire of the bike kitchen.
And it's a community. I was just giving back. That's what you got to do. That's what community's about. That's community. It's not about what you can do for the community. It's being part of the community and filling that link, filling that void. Because then you're part of that community. If you start saying what you did for the community, then it's about yourself. See what I'm saying?
Yes. Very important difference there.
Yeah. So that's my advice to you folks out there. If you really want to belong and be held, become part of the community. Don't bash yourself trying to say, this is what I'm doing for it. Just do it, man. Yeah. Just trust the process and go for it. Just what we were saying about filling in the void.
Man, that's beautiful.
Yeah, you got to stand together, and we all have to stand together. Go to the borders of every different kind of border, not just what's happening with this dumb shit. The wall. Yeah, stand at the borders together. When you stand together and start voicing yourself, you'll erase those borders. So that's that.
Wow.
So going back to the original question.
Yeah.
Well, which one?
Yeah. Well, I'm curious the timing of this. So the bike kitchen, it sounds like, because was before, or when did the bike kitchen happen in relation to you opening the store in Havelock?
The bike kitchen opened as the bike kitchen in 2010, but I started giving bikes away in 2006, right here in the Everett neighborhood.
Wow.
Yeah, and so like I said, from 2006 to it's evolved, how it evolved until 2012, which is about 2 years after the official bike kitchen started. That's when I walked away.
Jeez.
So the bike kitchen has been official since 2010. And I have to send you a picture of that, because we did after I met Carol and explained the situation, we had a meeting at the restaurant with a bunch of other people. And they said, well, why don't we do a big bike giveaway? October 10th, 2010 was just around the corner, and I can't remember what day that was going to mark. Something about the CO2 being released into the air. So it was really an important day. And so we did a big bike giveaway at Peter Pan Park.
Oh, wow.
And there's so many volunteers. Somebody did a count. I was keeping count of all the bikes. Total bikes given away and repaired was $42. 42 total.
Bikes? Jeez.
Yeah. I remember this small Asian woman. She was tiny. She was maybe 4'11", and she didn't speak any English, but she just held up the newspaper and was going like this, showing about the free bikes, and there was nothing in her size. But I remember going back to the storage, and there's this one little kid's bike, vintage kid's bike with the banana bars. So it's a little girl's bike with the banana bars and the ape hangers and the banana seat. I just kept looking and looking. I was like, I finally, on the last trip in, I just grabbed it and took it out. Have you seen Pee Wee Herman?
Yeah.
The part with the snakes, where he just keeps going in there, he's looking at them, where he's saving the pets from the burning pet store.
All right.
And
yeah.
And he finally, because he despised snakes. Not that I despise any bike, but he finally just grabs it and runs out with it. So it's kind of something like that. It's like, I'll grab this little bike and took it out there. So That's the bike she got. And
Amazing.
she went like this, you know, she didn't want to where the brakes were at.
Uh-huh.
I said, no. And I showed her with my feet. It was all,
Uh-huh.
So I got on this little girl's bike and I'm pedaling. And I showed her, I kicked back to stop it. And she finally showed me the okay. She gets on it and she's got this big old purse. So she puts it on the handlebar
Uh-huh.
and she takes off, and she's all over the place, but she finally just straightened out and she rode off into the sunset with her bike. Yeah. I remember this other gentleman was out there, Wesley Trout. He's an amazing gentleman. He had to repair stand on a trailer, on a bike trailer. And so he was there wrenching it and rocking it, you know, patching tires, just whatever it took. It was just such an amazing day.
Huh.
So back to your question, 2010, October 2010 is when the bike shop happened.
Uh-huh.
And then it was on the DL 2006 up until then.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like I said, I was doing, collecting bikes in the apartments over here in Everett.
Uh-huh.
And there was a point that I bought a camper, and that's where I was storing them at. And somehow the people in the neighborhood found out. So I'd get up in the mornings and there'd be bikes and rims and stuff leaned up against the, against the trailer. I'm like, God, this is amazing. People are finding out. So, there's tools out there anybody can use to do something. Like I said, being part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
You yourself are a tool, so you just go there, present this, and then the community will use that to fix. Just like that little locker I've got in front of the restaurant. All I did was set it there, put what it's for, and now people are filling it up with coats, socks, beanies, things like that. So.
To keep people warm in the winter.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's going through the end of December.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's times that. I mean, it's all been going for a few weeks, but there's been times it gets like really packed. I've got to bring out the extras inside, but all the stuff inside, except for maybe a day, goes out a little closet in front of the restaurant, just empty out.
Jeez.
Yeah.
There's a need for it.
Yeah, and I remember the first day. There was a lot of children's jackets that had been donated. And we set it up probably about 2 o'clock. And when school let out, there's a lot of foot traffic there. Just seeing the moms and their kids just going through the stuff and fitting the kids with the jackets and they were good to go. It was awesome.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so the community did a great thing by donating all these coats.
Yeah. Well, you're the catalyst. You put out the locker. You say free in 3 different languages: Arabic, Spanish, and English.
Yeah.
And from I think my perspective, and I think I would echo. A lot of people might echo this is. If you're going to help, it seems like it needs to be a huge ordeal. Like you need to get it, you need to make a big thing and make it perfect the first time. But you're a living example of like, if you see a place that something that the community needs, just make the first step, present yourself as trying.
Yeah.
And then the community will rally around you.
And that's all. Yeah. Love attracts love, man. For sure.
Well put.
Yeah. You start preaching hate, you're going to get some of it back. Yeah. And so, yeah. Boy, I almost did a big old burp. I'm glad I didn't. Hold that for later.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. So you still interested in Earthships?
Yeah. Well, it's 2 other projects that may or may not happen.
Tell me about them.
But one of them is Pepe's Off the Grid. So a restaurant that's off the grid, for those that understand Earthships and stuff like that. Having its own garden and, of course, an awesome source, which is the local farmers. And, when is Pepe's open? Sun up till sundown. That would be it, because I'm not going to pay for electricity.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
But so that was one little dream. The other dream would be, again, if anybody's out there listening, would be to get a plot of land here in Lincoln and build an Earthship bike shop for the Lincoln Bike Kitchen.
Oh.
So now they're not paying rent, and they're using solar power, and there's going to be solar power generators out there for any kind of power tool they might need to charge.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So that's two little dreams. I've got another project I'm working on, but I'll tell you that off the air.
Okay. All right. You might have to tease that movie to me off the air as well, if you don't want to spoil it.
Which one?
Well, you said you had 3, but
yeah. Well, there's 5, but
5.
3 of them are pretty solid.
Well, whichever one made your coworker tear up. If you could give us a hint, maybe that would help. You would hear people say, "Pepe, finish that movie."
Oh man.
But if you, I'm a big believer in no spoilers. So if you want to keep it hidden and secret, that's totally fair. I respect that.
Yeah, we'll keep it undercover. Well, I'll say this. One of them will be an animation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. One of them will be an animation.
Was not expecting that.
And the other one, I'll be looking for. This is nothing. I've been so blessed with the restaurant, with the people that I've met. I've met a lot of, people of different career goals and stuff like that. Writers, actors, computer folks, film guys, film girls. So I'll be reaching out to them. Yeah, see what we can do to make this happen. Yeah.
Well,
should I give you a title?
If you want, it's totally up to you. I understand how it is with art and revealing things.
One of them is called Serenata a la Llorona, which means serenading the Lady of the Lake. A lot of people, in different cultures, they've all got that spooky story of the woman that lives out in the lake, and at night you can hear her crying and wailing, And so, Serenata a la Llorona basically is that's what I'll tell you.
Yeah,
how's that for a tease?
I've got goosebumps. Jeez. Well, I think I hope that's enough to get the community, every person that sees you around, baby, giving you little gentle pokes here and there, saying, "Hey, finish that movie, dude."
Have you ever acted?
No. I tried out for the Nutcracker when I was like 6.
Good enough.
And I didn't make it.
Wow. Maybe the other one, A Frog's Flamenco. It's about a hopeless romantic that plays the guitar.
Wow. Yeah. What'd you say about hopeless romantic?
That plays the guitar.
Yeah, count me in. No, I won't need to act. That'll just be
natural. Just be yourself.
Yeah, just rolling. Go for it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So back to the community. Well, I'll tell you this. Speaking of community and Pepe's, Pepe's is 25% restaurant. The other 75% is community. And I love that because part of that is hosting local artists and local musicians. Like I said, since 2010, every second Friday of the month. It's a benefit for me in the sense that since I'm always working, I get to hear different music, and meet different musicians, and make more connections. And the walls in the restaurant, rather than repaint them all the time, every month they're different because of the different things that are hung up there. So that's how I benefit from it.
That's beautiful.
It's not the same restaurant. It changes every month. The other thing that helps change is the revolving produce. Local produce. That helps. That changes the menu. Yeah. I've had to calm down some. I used to change the menu every day. So now it's like I've got like a base menu and then like the specials of the week.
Nice.
Soup of the week, stuff like that. So people are really falling in love with that beet hummus quesadilla.
Ooh,
So I'll hold on to it for a couple of weeks.
those walnuts in there.
Yeah.
Cashew cream. Oh,
Yeah.
so
A
good.
little bit of microgreens from Yum Yum Greens. I didn't bring any samples out, did I? It's a local microgreen grower. He's
Oh.
doing an amazing job.
Well, I got a salad on the house, so thank you for that,
Yeah, of
Pepe.
course.
That was really,
Well, that comes with the entree.
yeah. Well, it was
So there you
delicious.
go.
Wasn't expecting it.
Do you like that dressing?
Yeah, what was that? I mean, I didn't.
That is a maple. You've heard of honey mustard vinaigrette?
Uh-huh.
Well, it's a vegan dressing. It's a maple mustard vinaigrette.
Oh.
Super easy, folks. Take some nice brown mustard, a little bit of maple syrup, and a dash or two of balsamic vinaigrette. Whisk the crap out of it, and there you go. Super and simple.
Nice. Let's keep this going. What other recipes you got? Super simple. I mean, don't reveal your secrets now, but I'm curious.
That's it, man.
That's it. Go to Pepe's 11th and B.
That's right.
Taste the goodness.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of goodness, I've got a wonderful new neighbor just half a block away. Juju's Vegan, Creole, and Cajun cuisine. And, Chef Derek, if you're listening, love you, man. Love what you're doing, brother. I'm here for you. Wow. So I'll talk to you soon. He does a couple of months ago, he started doing a spicy chicken sandwich. And it's vegan.
Oh.
And it's just amazing. And so,
man.
yeah.
I was at the storm cellar one night. And everyone was getting it, and I was like, man, that looks so good. It smells so good. But I haven't had chicken in 10 years. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Now. Man, it smells so good. I just was getting hungrier and hungrier. All these plates kept coming out. I was just like, come on. I wish I could eat this stuff. It looks so good. And then finally someone was like, oh, yeah, it's chickenless wings. I was like, oh, I was in line like that.
Yeah, there you go.
So he specializes in like making it taste like the real deal.
Yeah.
But,
So.
and they're your neighbors. He lives right on 11th and B as well. Or he has his house.
He's sourced out of near South Community organization.
Oh,
They're 11th and B, right across from Everett Elementary.
all right.
So, and where they're at, there used to be a little grocery store, and next to the grocery store within that same building was a little tiny micro restaurant. So that was a commercial kitchen space. And so when I met Derek, he told me that he'd been dabbling in his vegan food for a couple of years, and he was looking at maybe expanding that. And I said, well, I know the location. Let me go introduce you to Sean Reba. He's the director of that, and maybe they'll rent you that space. It's not, from what I understand, it's not being used. Maybe something can work out. In the meantime, why don't you come do a pop-up one of my second Fridays and kind of do an introduction to the community. And so I did have a second Friday, and I didn't cook that night, and I had Juju's sell their food, and inside I sold like lemonade and desserts. So it worked out for all of us.
Oh.
And so yeah, he went and met Sean, and deal was made, and that's where he's at now.
Wow.
So please go support my boy, or my buddy, not my boy, but my buddy.
Well, I gotta ask a question that was brought up to me by my friend Casey. He and Kaz, my other friend Kaz, Kaz is also very interested in earthships. She went to the school in New Mexico and learned all about it. So if you haven't heard of earthships, by the way, they're just like there's just they reuse their water like 5 times for first to wash themselves, and then it goes down and finally waters their plants. All sustainable, all off the grid, based on waste that's already exists, like tires and glass and stuff. It's so beautiful.
Upcycling. Earthships, because they're basically they're built on top. And so they're kind of like floating on the earth.
Oh wow!
There can be an earthquake, and because of the way they're built, they've got a certain flexibility to them.
Oh.
The earthships, the adobe houses, the cob houses.
Huh.
There's cob houses throughout Nebraska that are still in existence. So they might, have some cracks in the plaster. But if that happens during an earthquake, go out to the backyard, get some more dirt, fill it in, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so your friend is
Yeah.
She went to New Mexico for that?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, cool.
And they're doing all sorts of great things. They send people down to places that have been hit by hurricanes, and they say, well, you just got hit by a hurricane, and you also have plastic from all around the world washing up on your beaches. Let's fix these. Help this situation. Take what we got, and they're building houses out of plastic and stuff. It's amazing what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was their question?
Their question was, and if you work on this type of stuff, you might think of things like this creative. They asked if you could have one liquid come out of your pointer finger in the whole world, what would it be? And it's endless. Just not you can control it, of course. You can say boop.
Wow, one liquid.
Yep.
Clean water.
Clean water. That's solid. You got a second choice if you had it. That stuff's
a second liquid.
Yeah, because you could go all 5 if you want.
Really?
But
well, with clean water, I mean, like, gosh. And I mean clean water, not filtered. I'm talking about clean, natural water, the way the earth began. Yeah. Not full of pollutants, not full of cleansers or filtered or whatever.
Lead.
It's clean, beautiful water. Because with that, it's like I could go out to the deserts, fill it up with water. Yeah. I could go out to the Amazon where all these man-made freaking fires are happening to make land for the soybeans. Where they're killing off the indigenous Indians. They won't talk about that shit.
No.
But they're killing off people to plant soybeans.
Right.
I'd go out there. Yeah. Douse those fires with this clean water.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. I'll make sure it's a really strong water coming out that could demolish any kind of fucking wall.
Yeah, dude, the water jet.
Yeah.
Like cut steel. Nice.
You got
yeah. That's a great answer.
Part of my Italian there.
Oh, that's a great answer. Oh, that's... Someone said O negative blood, which is like, hard to argue with that. The universal donor.
Yeah.
The blood anyone can accept. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But yeah, it's between that and water for me.
Yeah. Wow. That's a pretty deep question.
Yeah. It's goofy, but it's also...
No,
it cuts right to it. What's important.
Yeah.
And if you fill up 5, you start thinking about olive oil, extra,
Yeah.
Do I want...
Take this one, that one, and make...
Yeah. Honey,
Honey, yeah.
But...
See what... And, liquid. Huh. So many.
Well, we'll have to talk about it next time on the podcast, Pepe.
Sounds good.
I don't want you to miss... You gotta cook beans for tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, I like to... I'm glad you asked that. I like to cook them for 14 hours. So, okay, kids, if you're listening,
Listen up.
moms, dads, everybody, a lot of you have been taught, soak your beans overnight. So when you put them on the pot, on the stovetop the next day, they'll cook quicker. But when you're doing that, you got to keep an eye on it. You got to stay put. You can't leave the house. And if you forget about it because you're playing guitar or whatever, they're going to burn. And that smell's going to be hard to take out of the walls. It's got to be stinky. It's got to be there for a while. So what I say is this. Take your beans, even if it says pre-washed, dried beans, dried organic beans. Put them on a clean surface. Pour them out and pick through it because there's still got to be some kind of debris. As they're being washed, sometimes all that dirt will start forming and there'll be like little dirt pellets in there.
Interesting.
Yeah. So just take those out. No biggie. Rinse them off and throw them in your crock pot.
Oh.
Set it on low, not on warm because they won't cook. Set it on low and put in your basic ingredients. Maybe some onion, some garlic. In my case, I love garlic, so if it asks for a clove of garlic, I'm going to put in 10 cloves of garlic. Onion, garlic, your favorite kind of pepper. Keep it simple. And set it on warm. Go to bed. In the morning, you got beans made. At that point, that's when you salt it. If you salt it the night before, it's going to keep the beans from cooking. So, and the reason I say slow cook them is because not all these ingredients you were going to add the next day on the stovetop. Overnight, they've already met each other in the crock pot, and they've made all these wonderful flavor babies, which the beans have soaked up.
Yeah.
And I love cooking my beans with beer from local breweries, and I've been doing a lot of white elm stouts in my beans when I do the chilies, um, which is it's cold season, so it's time to make some more chili again. And if I do happen to use beer for the beans on a certain week, I'll make sure I put that on my description because of the wheat gluten in there. There's people that are celiac and can't consume that.
Wow.
Yeah. But I like to do that with the beans. But yeah.
Damn,
So that's it. Wash off your beans, throw them in the crock pot. Go to bed. Now you got a bunch of beans. Well, what am I going to do with all these beans now? Well, here's what you do. You cool them off, throw them in your Ziploc,
Okay.
which is a horrible thing, plastic, but throw that in the freezer. And next time you come home, you're hungry, it's like, what am I going to eat? It's like, hey, man. Yeah.
Beans.
There's some beans for you.
Oh, yeah. Delicious.
Yeah.
Man,
Or set them out in the lower part of the refrigerator so they'll thaw. The next morning, for lunch, maybe take some Earth Balance, saute up some more onions, some more garlic, some more sweet pepper. And when that's nice and sauteed, throw your beans on top of that, take your masher, mash them up, and you got some amazing refried beans.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Man, if I wasn't full of Pepe Bistro goodness, I'd be...
I just made myself hungry.
Yeah, I know. You're not going over to White Elm tonight, are you? Because I'll just follow you right over there.
No. I'll be there Wednesday. I'm there every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
From 5 till 8.
And your bistro's open every day from 11 to 2?
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday,
11 till 2. Nights and weekends, I'm doing pop-ups and caterings.
Nice.
I hear a lot of comments. 11 to 2, you don't hardly ever work. Yeah. It's like, the food just makes itself.
Yeah.
I just come in and serve it. But no, it's a process, man.
I believe
I'm there 7:30 to 8 every day. And
7:30 to 8?
Well, 7:30 or 8 in the morning.
Okay.
That's when I get there.
Uh-huh.
And then get all that going, take a quick inventory, see what I need, head to the farmer's market on Saturday or Sundays, but on Sundays I'm already at the market. And then in between I'm at the open harvest.
Nice.
Try to find goodies there. And like I said, I've also got my other wonderful neighbors, Community Crops, which, they have farmers. And you guys look up Community Crops. Seriously, Google it. It's a beautiful thing they're doing. But those folks, they'll come over, hey, Pepe, we got these extra, whatever. You want to buy some? I'm like, yeah, bring it on. Right now I just bought a bunch of watermelon radishes from Robinette Farm. Yeah.
Watermelon radishes.
They're amazing. Did you see it on the Wednesday? Come see me.
Okay.
At Wyoming Brewery.
All right.
That's part of the garnish on the pozole verde. It's got to be just soup.
So I'm imagining either a tiny little watermelon shaped like a radish, or here we can look this up, or we can the beauty of the podcast is a picture of a watermelon radish can appear right here right now.
Oh, well, it's about to.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got to see this.
Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good.
I can't see. All right. Let me see. So this is the soup that I made with the watermelon radish and the local microgreens. It's the garnish. Check it out.
Oh.
See why they call it watermelon?
Oh, that is beautiful.
Yep, so I'll give you that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, make sure to send that to me so we get high def, but just in case. That's amazing. Oh man. It's like, looks beautiful.
So that'll give it that little extra something. And for everybody out there that's, and I've heard this comment lots of times, Pepe, I wish I knew how to cook. Everybody can cook, man. When I opened up Pepe's, I didn't know how to cook. I just dove, and I still don't. I just dove right in. I trusted the process. I thought I would just learn on my own.
Whoa.
And I did. And I'm still learning. Yeah. So here's my advice to you folks. Always do the what if and the why not. What if I, like say when the zucchini are in season, what if I took a few fillets of that, a little bit of Earth Balance, salt, pepper, and this is just an example, grilled it really quick, and put it on my plate and served it with the sautéed mushrooms and the arugula salad with the apples and the whatever. What if I did that instead of a slice of steak or a slice of chicken?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, why not? Go for it. You're going to learn if it works or not. Don't just use that and cook and use it throughout your life. Yeah. Well, what if I decide to take this little weekend course at the local community college, how to do websites? Why not? You're going to find out. What if I do this? What if I just do it?
Wow.
Don't wait for this approval. Just do it. Yeah.
Amazing advice.
Thank you.
If this weren't recording, I'd have written it down quickly. This is amazing. This is kind of the story of this podcast. I was like, well, what if? Well, I might.
What if and why not?
I might convince Pepe to have an hour-long conversation with me.
Yeah.
I feel very lucky to be in the same room with you, Pepe. You're
Likewise. Thank you, brother.
an amazing man, and it's echoed by the community. You mentioned Pepe, and everyone's just like, oh, Pepe.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
He used to be angry back in the day. My coffee days.
You were telling me about that.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Another time.
Another time. But I will say this. The what if and the why not, and trusting the process. There's a time that I want to go take some classes again on earthships and straw bale and whatnot. And I found a course, but it was in Ohio. And the bus went to I think 20 miles from the farm that I wanted to go to. I didn't want to fly because I couldn't afford it, and I just scared of flying. I've never done it. And I thought, well, how the heck am I going to get to that? And I thought, maybe a fold-up bike. So, because I had called the Greyhound and asked how much would it cost to get a bike on the bus. And they said, well, it'd be $40. I'm like, round trip? They're like, no, each way. I'm like, damn, $80 extra. Because I was broken. I had already bought my ticket at that time. Or, my paid for the course. And I went ahead and bought the ticket. It's like, what am I going to do? The bus leaves in a few days. And I went to Bike Peddlers. And they had a fold-up bike, the Breezer, the Joe Breezer, I think it was called. And I asked the guy, I was like, hey, how much for this bike? It's like, since it's the last of the, it's our display bike. We just want to get rid of it. And they asked if I want to ride it, so I did in the back parking lot. I came back. I'm like, so you want to get rid of it? What's the least you'll take? Like, how about $80? Like, yep, you got it. So that's what I took with me to Ohio. Just a little fold-up bike. Carried it with me. Didn't have to pay any extra. And that was my luggage.
Oh, amazing.
And that's how I trekked through Ohio to get to Blue Rock Station Earth Living Center, where I took a weekend course in straw bale building.
Whoa.
It was really neat. And that's a whole different story I'll tell you one day.
I would love to.
It was amazing. I'll tell you one part of it.
Yeah, please.
When I got there to Zanesville. Zanesville, because that's where there's a writer, Zane Grey. I think he wrote Westerns or something like that. But anyways, and I'm sorry to those of you if I mispronounced his name or maybe didn't get it quite right. But I knew there's a campground just outside of Zanesville. So I thought, I need to get out there because it's getting dark. And I'm riding out there and getting to the campground. And the pavement, the paved roads soon turn into gravel. So now I'm riding gravel on this little fold-up bike. And just weird sounds. And there's, it's late at night. And off in the distance, there's little houses. And there's lights on. It's like, the first one didn't really get to me, but then after a while, it's like, oh, these little houses out in the sticks, the lights are on. And so I'm riding, and I look to my left, and over to the left was a casket company. And it's like, whoa, that's kind of freaky.
Whoa.
Yeah. So when you're tired and you get scared of something, your mind starts to mess with you. So as I'm riding a little further up, I look up, and there's the route sign, letting you know what highway or route you're on. And I looked up, it said route, then the number. Guess what it said?
66. Oh,
Route 666. I kid you not. And I'll send you that picture. I'm like, nobody's got to believe this. So I leave my bike up on it and took a picture. I'll tag you on that photo so you can see it.
Yeah, please.
And I finally got to the campground. It was closed. So I had to ride back into town. And after a while, I was just tired of riding. I thought, I'm going to walk.
Uh-huh.
I was like, God, man, I'm so tired. For every step, I hear 2 steps. It's like my own steps are echoing in my mind. I need to sleep in the grass or something.
Uh-huh.
So at one point, I stopped, and I heard, so the steps just kept going. I'm like, what the hell? So I'll turn around, so maybe 20 yards behind me, there's somebody. As soon as I turn around, there's somebody following me. He was doing a slow jog towards me. When I turned around, he stopped. So I'm like, all right, I'm out in the sticks in the middle of nowhere. There's this person that was running up behind me, wearing jeans and a long sleeve shirt and tennis shoes. And I walked across the road, and I looked and picked up whatever rock I could find. I could grip on and not let go in case it came down to something. And picked it up. I walked a little faster. And when I got to the pavement, I turned around, he was gone. But man, I booked it to town. Yeah, that was. Yeah. Thank my lucky stars, they say. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unsettling. Man,
So I consider myself very lucky.
you almost had to defend yourself with a rock in the middle of the
Yeah,
sticks of Ohio.
That's something that is probably used quite a bit in that area, along that gravel road. It's like, but yeah.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. What I was going to talk about, Jack, small businesses in Lincoln, Nebraska. Support Gomez Art Supply. She is an amazing woman. She has done a lot for the local art community. She has given and given and given. Yeah.
Novel Ideas right next to there too. I love
that's
Novel
a strip
Idea.
of all these beautiful Novel Idea. And London Strings on 48th. That's owned by a woman. Before her husband passed away, she learned the trade, and she's been holding it down for all those years.
Nice.
Yeah, and she's the one who'll fix her guitar or upright bass, whatever, violin. Yeah,
Very
it's got
cool.
crack. If it's fixable, she'll glue it together and just do the right thing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
The Valenti's just opened up a store that they sell all sorts of like soaps and lotions and candles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's in Paris.
Oh,
Studio.
yeah, Ishma.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Valenti's. Yeah, they're right up in Parish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Peggy and her 2 other partners at the time started Tugboat Gallery.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where they moved it to, was because they were on O Street, and then she moved over there and then opened up Tugboat Gallery upstairs.
Huh.
And I think that's been an anchor for many other galleries that have come and gone.
Absolutely. Yeah, Tugboat, it's just to me synonymous with Parish. That's that whole area.
Yeah, a lot of people they're looking for a certain artist, and they just assume Tugboat Gallery is the entire top floor of the Parish, but it's not. It's that one corner.
Oh.
Because upstairs you'll find a bunch of other amazing, studios of all sizes and different types of art, and sometimes it's just musicians will go up there and just play. That's a really neat thing.
Yeah.
Support your local artist.
Yeah.
Support your local farmers. Support your local businesses when you can, as often as you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It becomes daunting when I think of, businesses and corporations in general. It's hard for me to support anything. But then when I meet people like you and Cinnamon and Kat down at Novel Idea, I'm just like, man, whatever is gonna help them get by. I want to help them. The people associated with it. But I've never met Mr. Best Buy.
Oh,
So who am I helping here? I'm helping someone take a 5th vacation on their 6th yacht. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like no one's biking to work. No one's sleeping in their car in an alley. So it's we really got to help the people that need it.
Yeah, when I had my second apartment where I had the bikes with the garage, I didn't have a car for a while, so I was biking from 19th and Dakota, which is past Van Dorn, to the restaurant on a 72 Schwinn Racer. And that thing was heavy back then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's heavier now because I'm way older. But I loved it on Saturdays because I would take off, hit the farmer's market downtown, load up those big wire baskets with food, and ride off to Havelock. And so that was my commute, my daily commute.
Wow.
Yeah. And, well, of course, the farmer's market on Saturdays. But other than that, yeah.
Huh. So if you could highlight 3 characteristics or mementos or mantras that you find are most important in your life, whether it's gratitude, community, or what would you say are your 3 most important guiding philosophies?
Oh gosh. Well, be part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
Is the one, and I explained that earlier.
Yeah.
Don't be the one saying I'm doing this for the community, because that makes it all about you.
Yeah.
And it's not.
You're standing off to the side, like throwing
Yeah,
at people.
yeah.
It's like, do you even know what they need at this point?
Yeah. Don't be out there
Uh-huh.
throwing paper towels into a crowd like. Yeah.
That's a perfect example.
Look what I'm doing. I'm throwing rolls of paper towels, so these people just lost everything.
Yeah, look what I'm doing. That's such a good example.
Yeah. So that. Gosh, Jack, I'm at a block right now.
No, that's okay. That's like the most important one,
Yeah.
because if everyone has that philosophy, it's whatever. To be a part of a community, you have to embody so many other wonderful characteristics, and
Yeah.
and you can't be selfish and be in a community.
No.
So
And yeah. Part of that is sometimes you've got the opportunity to help somebody. Do it. Just do it. Without having your selfie camera going, look what I'm doing for this homeless guy. Here you go, homeless guy. Here's $20. Yeah. Just do it. And
Wow.
you'll find a gratitude. Oh, I don't want to give in too much information, but just do it without expecting anything back, because that'll come back to you. Yeah, and they'll say I'm doing this now because it'll come back to me, but the right time will come where that gift you just gave is going to come full circle and it'll come back to you. I will say this: my mother Elizabeth, she's been my rock.
Huh.
She's an immigrant, and the things that she went through to get to the United States. Any other person, I shouldn't say any other person, but it'd be hard for anybody else to have gone through what she did. Yeah. Wow. To come live the American dream. She's amazing. And we'll be celebrating her birthday December 27th. It's coming up pretty quick, so I'm not sure where to take her for dinner. I'm hoping the Hub Cafe is open. Maybe we'll all go there.
Another great example.
Yeah. Oh, they're great.
But
Farmer owned and operated. Doug Dittman and his co-workers do a great job out there.
Yeah. How old's your mom turning?
She'll be 83.
Wow.
83. Yeah. And we're talking about farms and food. And how Doug's done a great job. As I said, I don't. I stopped eating meat 15 years ago, or whatever. And so, and like I said, my restaurant is not vegan because I do have the honey in there. And I explained all that. But my mother, she's on unlimited income, and she forgets things sometimes. So I'll go visit her, and it's like, I made you dinner. And so every night, and she remembers sometimes, or a lot of times, but sometimes she won't. And she'll make this wonderful meal. And with it, there'll be brisket. So in my eyes, and this is me, you guys out there can beat me up all you want, I don't care. When somebody gives you something wholeheartedly, with love, to sit there and turn it away, that's a bigger sin. Because one, that the animal was already sacrificed. Two, that they're giving you something that's wholehearted, full of awesomeness, full of beautiful energy, and to turn your nose up at it is bullshit. Literally. Yeah. And so every now and then you'll make that little sacrifice to do that.
Mm.
And I still teach her every now and then. Not teach her, but I kind of let her know what's going on in the world, and she does listen, and she does take that for account. So she has cut back a lot on her meat consumption, big time. Yeah, but yeah, don't arrive as a guest at someone's house and then turn away what they're offering you. Yeah, it's not cool. So.
My friends and I sometimes talk about going on the love diet, or it's just only eating food that was cooked by someone with the love.
Yeah.
Or in other words, do they care if I live or die? Is because I feel the same thing with some
Yeah.
It's like such a genuine offer, and it means more to accept it than it does to
Yeah. That's a great way to think of it. Yeah, there's in the food business. Well, I won't go there, but I said earlier I will not go in that direction, so I won't.
Oh, that's fine. I respect that.
Yeah. Well, I will say it. If you really have no real morals and no love going into those dishes, a lot of times sky's the limit, and you're going to make money on top of money on top of money. That's why you see some of these chain restaurants are just popping up everywhere. Yeah, they're serving what's fast. Fast food. Fast and affordable. What makes it affordable? It's like, well, it's... Yeah.
Loveless,
yeah. And on the flip side to that, one thing that is pissing me off is that there are some places throughout America that are labeling their food vegan and vegetarian and organic and local and sustainable, and they're price gouging. I mean, they're just crazy prices for that reason. So how the heck is that doing any good to make it accessible to those that can't afford those kinds of prices?
Great. Yeah, great.
You know what I mean? I know what I pay, and I know what I can sell it for and still do okay. But it's ridiculous to be paying $14 for a freaking wrap.
Yeah.
Here in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's what I'm selling them for. It's just an example that popped off the top of my head. Yeah.
Well, the place I ate last night open in Omaha. It was a very loveless wrap for like $14. It was
Really?
actually the exact price. And I remember just chewing through it. Like, first of all, I can tell that no one cared about this.
Yeah, it was just a feel good kind of.
Yeah, and second of all, I was like thinking about Pepe's. I was like, man, you've set a bar. It's like, wow, if any meal I eat is like, is this cooked with as much love as Pepe's cooks his food with? Because it's the attention you pay, and it shines through. I've never had a meal that has, and it's the perfect portion, and you can tell. Sometimes I eat, even if it's vegan, I'll eat a meal and I'll leave the restaurant and I'll think, well, it's time for sitting on a couch.
Yeah.
Or nap time or something. But after I eat Pepe's, I'm just like, all right, like, let's take on the day.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
It fills me with energy.
Always great to see you, yeah. Always add a little bit of greens to your, whatever you're eating.
Yeah.
Fresh greens, fresh raw greens, microgreens, or, whatever. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Make yourself a raw smoothie in the mornings.
That's what you're doing these days, huh?
Yeah. Pretty much every morning. Just keep it simple. Maybe skip that coffee that one morning and make yourself a raw smoothie. Just super simple. And not necessarily entirely raw, but maybe banana, peanut butter, some almond milk. Maybe put in some dates in there to make it sweeter. Pitted dates. You don't want to throw a date with seeds in there.
Right.
Maybe some oats of some kind, as as a filler, fiber.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do the oats, maybe some spinach or some kale. It might look kind of funky in color. Some blueberries for sure.
Ooh.
And you can get a nice size bag at Open Harvest for I think $12, $13. And people are like, "Oh, that's a lot of money," but that'll last me for 2 weeks.
Right.
So I take out just the right amount of berries. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good lesson. It's all
And so
day.
that's my breakfast in the morning, and keeps me going.
Nice.
Yeah. And so that does a lot more for me than a cup of coffee. I just can't handle that caffeine anymore.
Yeah.
30 plus years of that stuff just was really bad. Yeah.
I'm just on the other side of my coffee era, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I read someone, my friend Colby, if you're listening, he said, coffee is a coffee trap.
Oh,
The only thing coffee's good for is to get you to drink more coffee. And I resonate with that because, after a while, unless you really keep your distance from it and have it once in a while, coffee will just bring you right back up to the norm. And then without coffee, you're just kind of in this haze. And I know from experience, I've been there, but I do, it smells good. It's a communal thing,
Yeah.
but
yeah, it is a communal thing.
not throwing any judgment anyone's way. Like I've said,
Not at all.
I've spent most of my life needing that cup of coffee in the morning. But
Yeah.
it is a need. That's what scared me. It's like, man, of all the things, I should only be addicted to water, food, and air and community.
Yeah.
But how did coffee get in here?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think maybe when it first came around, I don't know the history on coffee or whatever, but I'm sure back then they didn't have, macchiatos and, frappes or whatever the heck.
Right.
Whipped cream coming out of a can, or sprinkled with whatever. Yeah. It's just more of a clean form, I guess.
Mhm.
They would take the beans, roast them, grind them up, boil it.
Yeah.
That was that.
And when I was in Ethiopia too, they would use the husks as well.
Really?
Yeah, they'd separate them, and they would either make them both with the husks of the coffee bean, or just every morning they'd make coffee with just the husks.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And that was like, it's kind of like eating the weeds. It's like, well, this is something we have a plethora of, and then they would treat coffee more as a ritual, or on special occasions when they would have guests over. But every morning, every family would have the husk coffee. I thought that was
interesting.
really interesting.
Yeah. Well, something that Mom used to do. She would make corn silk tea. So silk that you take off the corn. The little golden hairs, whatever you want to call it. She'll take that, dry it, and then make tea with it.
Whoa!
It's just amazing. Yeah. And she still does that every now and then.
Wow! I'm sure that has nutrients and stuff in there.
Yeah.
Whoa!
So corn silk tea.
What does that taste like?
Oh, it's hard to describe.
Right.
You gotta get that corn essence.
Huh.
But yeah, corn silk tea.
Nice.
Yeah. You ever heard of you've heard of corn smut? It's the mushroom type fungus that grows on corn. It's gray. In different parts of the world, including Mexico, it's a delicacy because it's
The fungus.
it's been compared to a truffle in flavor. So you break that off, cut it up, throw it into the pan with maybe some squash blossoms, maybe a little onion or whatever. Saute it, throw it into a taco shell, or throw it maybe into a quesadilla. Huitlacoche is the name of it. But here, corn smut is what it's called.
Corn smut? What was the Spanish word for it?
Huitlacoche.
Huitlacoche.
Yeah, so it's
That sounds a lot
spelled
more
with
appetizing.
with an H, but you don't pronounce the H. Huitlacoche.
Huh.
But yeah, I remember seeing a lot of that at the farmer's market when I first moved here in 2004. And I was like, what the heck? Why the heck do I want that? That's gross looking. But I guess it never caught on. But that one farmer had the right idea.
Huh.
And I never did find it after that.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you just grow corn and then let it start.
Well, farmers will try to get rid of that stuff quick as possible because
Right.
it's got spores.
Right.
And they'll just get on everything else and it could ruin a whole crop.
Huh.
But, if you ever do buy it, make sure it comes from a little farm that's organic, pesticide free, all that fun stuff.
Huh. Huitlacoche.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I had some corn the other year that went bad, but apparently it was going good.
Maybe. Yeah. Oh, out in the yard?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Volunteer corn too.
Really?
Yeah. And actually, when we moved in, there was just a random corn stalk. I think it's because people feed their squirrels
Yeah.
corn.
That makes sense.
And then the squirrels go bury it and stuff. But we had a lone corn stalk in the front yard, and just carried over there was the garbage service. And I saw the big truck pull up, and so loud it wakes me up.
Yeah.
And the guy gets out, and bless his heart, he empties the garbage can, which you're expected to fill up a huge bin every twice a week. It's like I think it's helping us feel normal about our waste. But anyways, he empties the bin and wheels it up, and I've got this one gentle corn stalk protruding over it, and he just puts it right on top of the corn stalk.
Oh man.
It's like,
that was that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I looked out there, it just snapped right in half. I was
Oh,
like, okay.
man.
So I called that's the last time I had a garbage service. But yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, lesson learned, I guess.
Yeah. It's like
There's always a lesson with everything you do.
absolutely.
Why if and why not? Yeah, lesson learned.
And with a little grain of humor, it's like things will come and hit you. You're flying through life. Things will come and hit you, and if you can learn to laugh at it or turn it into art, it's like putting it into your afterburners.
Yeah.
It's like let's propel this a little further. But if you sit with it for too long and don't know how to channel it into food or art or jokes,
Yeah.
it's gonna weigh you down, and you're gonna end up feeling like I don't even want to fly anymore.
Yeah. No, you can't live in the past of mistakes. Yeah. You gotta live in the now and move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many siblings do you have, Pepe?
I've got my brother Francisco, and then I've got a stepbrother and stepsister. My stepbrother Scott, my stepsister Becky, and then I've got my half brothers Michael and Stephen.
Oh wow!
And Stephen is in Florida with his wife and two little girls.
Wow.
My other brothers are here in Sioux City, Iowa.
Huh.
And my stepsister Becky is with her daughter up in the Carolinas. And then I've got my other half-sister. She lives here in Lincoln. Yeah.
So your mom was an immigrant from
Mexico.
From Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
When did she come here? Before starting
Oh, gosh.
a family?
Yeah, before starting a family, she worked out in the fields, as they say.
Wow.
Yeah. On the crops, whether it was cotton or whatever was being grown at the time.
Whoa.
And that's where she learned English.
Huh.
She always thought it was the neatest thing hearing people speak English. It sounds so beautiful to her. And she'd go home and watch the soap operas in English, and she was able to start being able to make sense of what was being said.
Oh wow.
And then so she'd give her a try, and so little by little, she self-taught herself.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Can you even
She's
imagine?
an amazing woman.
Self-teaching off of TV, which is subtitles. Would that help her?
No, there was no subtitles back then.
I can't even
She would
imagine doing.
try to catch a word, and try to repeat it. And,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Good for her.
work in the fields. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. A lot of those fields, a lot of those farm workers. I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but back in the day, with the grapes, California, there was a big strike because these grapes were being sprayed with pesticides while other workers were out there.
Oh.
So they developed, a lot of problems.
Oh,
A lot of them were getting third-degree burns.
Oh,
and,
third-degree burns.
yeah, just the way that the chemicals reacting on their skin, respiratory problems, deaths, and but the production must go on. Large-scale farming for the wine. Yeah. There's a documentary out there. It's called, I believe it's called Mondovino. I recommend it, and it's about the wine world.
Wow.
And I went from small scale farming for the wine to and something you shared with your neighboring farm. Say, here's my wine. I was growing this type of grape.
Oh.
Here's a bottle of it. Oh, great. Well, I've got this, other grape. That's what I got. And the guy that's being interviewed, it's an older gentleman. He said, that's what it used to be about. He's like, now, then he started crying after that. He couldn't talk. He was like, now, it's about cases of wine. Yeah. And same thing with food. You share it with, and that's what I love about Juju's being next door, because I go over there and, get some of his food, and he'll come and get some of mine. So it's just that little part of that little world. Wow. You don't see these chain restaurants, burger joints doing that with each other. At least I don't think. I don't know.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you don't see. Anyways.
Wow. Another reason to buy local, support the community.
Yeah. And like I said, hang out. If if anybody out there ever wants to volunteer during the farmers market season with me and experience some of this wonderfulness, come on out. Let me know. I'll walk you around. Introduce you to the different farmers. I think I'm very blessed in that way to know where the food's coming from, and not only that, to know the farmers on a first name basis. And the other way around.
Yeah.
I mean, how many big restaurants can do that? Or how many restaurants, period, can do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so special.
Yeah.
And they're the local farmers, they're living there. So they're not sitting in a high tower saying,
No.
well, let's spray chemicals that'll cause our workers to get third-degree burns,
Yeah. They're doing it themselves. Or, look at their hands.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of good things going on with small scale farming and sustainable farming. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna keep that in mind. The what ifs and the why nots.
Yes, the what ifs and the why nots.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
What if and what if I do this?
What if I started a podcast? Said Jack. And there you are.
Yeah, right. And why not? And the person that came to mind, if there'd be A, immensely interesting and influential in this community, and B, totally gracious and forgiving when I screw everything up, which I hope I haven't, and I hope
not at all.
I hope
this has been fun.
We'll make sure. I hope the lens caps aren't on or anything, but it's
that one is.
No. Well, Pepe,
but we'll do it again, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
In case they are, if you figured out that something isn't recorded, I'll come back.
Well, even if it is, I mean, I can imagine. There's a huge list of people, but I'd love to have people on twice, because we hit so many moments where it was like, well, we could go this way for an hour, So.
Yeah, for sure. If you ever want to do a quick little cooking show, I'll do that for you. We'll go to your garden and we'll pick out some stuff and we'll make up something.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we gotta. So we're gonna do beets, and beets.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna go harvest some beets from the garden, and then we're gonna cook them. But we're gonna do that while we're making a beet. Like.
Oh, beets and beets. I love it.
And then also the third beets comes from, there's gonna be a chessboard somewhere. So every once in a while we're gonna take a break, go over and make a chess move, and eventually one of us is going to beat the other person.
Oh, perfect.
So beats, and beats.
Nice. I love it.
So we'll have to have you on for that.
Man, you're fast.
Well,
yeah.
That'd be
beats and beats. Oh man, that's beautiful. I love it.
Thanks, Pepe. We'll have to have you on for that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
This has been fun.
I hope I answered at least a fourth of the questions.
There's so many more. Every question that pops up, I want to talk to you about Ohio. I want to talk to you about what you learned at the Earth Ships. I want to talk to you about your family, about your mom's sacrifices moving here, but another time.
Yeah.
You gotta go cook some beans.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well,
thanks, brother.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on, Pepe. Oh, and actually, hold on. Stay there.
What? Do I need my headphones on? My head's pretty huge. I think I might ruin your headphones.
Yeah. All right, I forgot to do this at the beginning, but there's gonna be a jingle at every episode.
Oh, thank God. I thought you wanted me to play. It's like I don't know how to play stringed instruments.
Oh no!
Woo, you scared me.
Yeah, part of this podcast was making you wildly uncomfortable. But this is something I should have done at the beginning. But this is the name of the podcast is What Chautauqua'n About, because
Yeah.
we live on Chautauqua. So the jingle is very short and sweet, and it's supposed to be at the beginning, but
Well,
like
that's all
I
right.
screwed it
Editing,
over.
man. Yeah.
What Chautauqua'n About?
Nice.
Thanks for listening, everybody.